that was shocking to hear, ladies and gentlemen. I never would have thought that Canelo Álvarez on Cinco de Mayo get booed, not only by boxing fans, but by his own fans, the Mexican fans. The Mexican fans that have been cheering for Canelo Álvarez, man, like no other fan base cheered for their fighter. Throughout all these years, did the fans betray Canelo Álvarez? Or did Canelo Álvarez betray the fans, the boxing fans, especially the Mexican fans? As you all know, this past weekend, David Benavidez obliterated Zurdo Ramírez. And we all know that David Benavidez has been calling out Canelo Álvarez for, man, we lost count for how many years. And I think that Canelo Álvarez, in the beginning, got the benefit of the doubt. You know, David Benavidez haven't fought nobody. I think that even myself, Latino, I support Latino fighters like I support any great fighter as well. But I even enabled Canelo Álvarez in the beginning, saying, you know what, you can't shame David Benavidez. He hasn't fought the fight yet. You can't shame him. This is not a Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather, icon versus icon, pound for pound versus pound for pound. You know what I'm saying? Your resume, your legacy, your lucrative resume, and David Benavidez. No, it wasn't there. Canelo Álvarez, for the most part, throughout his career, prior to the David Benavidez, the emerge of David Benavidez calling out Canelo Álvarez, he's been fighting the fight. Even when he fought Triple G, we ain't had to wait so long for that fight. Even though that he did test it positive, in which even I, threw that under the rug. See, there's a lot of people that have been enabling Canelo Álvarez, like myself. I haven't been happy with all the moves that Canelo Álvarez has done, but because the good outweighs the bad at the time, of course, you know, I'm going to give Canelo Álvarez the benefit of the doubt, his resume, his accomplishments. Even like in the 160-pound division, in which he could have fought for the undisputed versus Demis Andre, and I wanted to see that fight. And I'm like, damn, man, that's the fight I've been wanting to see. I've been wanting to see that fight in 154, but that was for Canelo Álvarez to become the undisputed. As a matter of fact, if he would have fought the Demis Andre in 160 and probably managed to beat him and then moved to the 168, he would have been the first to become the first two-division undisputed world champion in the history of the sport of boxing. I didn't like the move, but I respected the move because he jumped up to the third division and fought Sergey Kovalev, in which people may have deemed more dangerous, coming out to win. Sergey Kovalev had with Anthony Yarde, knocking out Anthony Yarde, the young hungry lion. He became a three-division world champion. He traded a legacy fight for another legacy fight, so that was all right. And after the Kalen Plant, that run was beautiful, man. He was untouchable. Matter of fact, hey, yo, you see the whispers today that, yo, what about David Benavidez versus Alexander Usyk if you move up to the heavyweight division? Canelo Álvarez was doing so good and he was firing on all cylinders at his prime intellect and physical ability, coexisting at the highest level, giving the fans what they want to see, not waiting long time for the undisputed at 168. You know what I'm saying? And then he managed to become undisputed, and then the only fight that we all wanted to see was the David Benavidez. And we allowed Canelo Álvarez to say, well, you know what I'm saying? David Benavidez had only fought Anthony Durrell, which was true. Why doesn't he fight other fighters? Right? Why doesn't he up his resume? Who did he fight? And it's true. Who did he fight? David Benavidez was basically indirectly, okay, I will fight Kalen Plant. I'll fight Demis Andre, the fight that you should have had in the 160-pound division, because after the Triple G fight, it was Canelo and Demis Andre was the number 1 and number 2 for the undisputed. He washed Demis Andre. He went to the 175-pound division, beat Alexandre. He beat was supposed to be the boogeyman in the 168, David Morrell. It was no longer for Canelo Álvarez to avoid David Benavidez. But Canelo Álvarez kept on giving us fights that we didn't want to see. I didn't want to see the Triple G trilogy. If you're familiar with the channel Punch Drunk Boxing, I spoke against it. Nah. We didn't want to see Jaime Munguia. That's not the Mexican that we wanted to see, because Canelo Álvarez said that he wouldn't fight a Mexican. And then people were shaming David Benavidez as he's not a real Mexican to enable Canelo Álvarez. Let's be real, let's be honest. The people that were saying that David Benavidez was not Mexican, it was to enable the statement that Canelo Álvarez made. But he's an American, he's not a Mexican. Let me tell you like this, my fellow Latino Mexican fan base. You got a pride in joy in David Benavidez. You must be crazy if you're going to say that David Benavidez is not a Mexican. Because, man, I'm going to say it like this. Man, he's the most dangerous Mexican that I've seen in my lifetime. Oh, yeah, we got the Salvador Sanchez of the world and the Julio Cesar Chavez in the world and stuff like that. But let's be real, let's be honest. We ain't never seen 200 pounds that throw punches like that. A monster of all monsters. You should be proud. But because of the love of Canelo Álvarez in the past, they would shame David Benavidez. Almost like they did to Oscar De La Hoya when Oscar De La Hoya was about to fight Julio Cesar Chavez. You're not a real Mexican. But anyway, the fans, little by little, became frustrated, including myself. It's got to the point where we feeling betrayed. We feeling betrayed because we're going out there and enabling Canelo Álvarez doing these moves that we don't want to see. I didn't want to see no damn John Ryder. We wanted to see, really, we was in corner for the Edgar Berlanga and Canelo Álvarez fight. You kept on skipping, you kept on skipping. And the guy that was supposed to be the king, because when you're a king, you have responsibility. When people say that boxing, oh, it's dying, boxing's not the same. But guess what? Who's the king of boxing? So who gets the responsibility of the goods and the bad? In any sport, right? The face of the sport. If the face of the sport is Canelo Álvarez and the world is saying that boxing is not the same and boxing is dying, who's there to fix it? The king. See, Canelo Álvarez was moving like a king, but it got to the point where he stopped moving like a king. And guess what? The peasant, David Benavidez, started moving like a king. For Zurdo Ramírez moving up to the cruiserweight division. And if you look at the last 4 or 5 fights, David Benavidez got a better resume than Canelo Álvarez. So not only did David Benavidez did what Canelo Álvarez, you know what I'm saying, shame him to do, because we thought that at least David Benavidez does that, you would give him an opportunity, but no, you didn't give him an opportunity. So you betrayed your word. You betrayed us as fans. That, of course, at the end of the day, the first priority as a fan is be a fan of the sport. You ain't give us what we want, but we thought that you will give us what we want because you usually give us what we want. You the one that set the tone. You was an active fighter. We know when you're gonna fight. You was doing good. You was having accomplishment. We was celebrating you. But the thing is, you abandoned us, Canelo Álvarez. You betrayed us. You started saying words and phrases like, I do whatever I want to do. That wasn't you before. I do whatever I want to do. Every time a fan, this is your own fans base that was asking for the David Benavidez fight. It's not some haters. You didn't give us the fight. So we grew more frustrated. Why David Benavidez is actually giving the boxing fans what we want, entertainment and the right opponents. Not easy opponents. Not easy opponents, the right opponents. Right? We even seen Turkey Al-Sheikh disrespect you in that tweet, shaming you, saying that basically you're scared to fight Terence Bud Crawford and David Benavidez. You also betrayed yourself. When you said that, I wouldn't fight no William Skull. You drop your undisputed not to fight William Skull. And even the fan base got with you like, yeah, man, after that William Skull, man. Who the hell is William Skull, man? Please, get the David Benavidez fight. And while Turkey Al-Sheikh was shaming you, right? As a matter of fact, I was more happy if Canelo Álvarez fighting Jake Paul. Imagine if Canelo Álvarez would have done the Jake Paul what Anthony Joshua did to Jake Paul. Man, yo, Canelo Álvarez would have been the biggest star. And you still would have had the opportunity to get the Terence Bud Crawford that September. And then you not only betrayed and went with Turkey after he disrespected you. You wouldn't even give David Benavidez an opportunity because you don't like when fighters disrespect you, right? You wouldn't give David Benavidez an opportunity, David Andrade an opportunity because they disrespected you. You want everybody to be nice like Jaime Munguia and John Ryder. Don't say nothing so they could get an opportunity. You betrayed. And not only that, then you signed. You signed with Turkey. Shout out to Turkey. He's done a good thing in the sport of boxing thus far. But you signed with Turkey. You became his caramel thunder. Like Terence Bud Crawford became his chocolate thunder. You gave a fight. And then, no matter of fact, you went out there. You abandon Cinco de Mayo. You betrayed your fan base to go out there and fight a guy that we all did not want you to fight, and actually argue with other people for you not to fight him and understand. And we went against the belt federation. Yeah, how you going, William Skull? Who the hell is this guy? Why you want him? And you went out there and you became a puppet of turkey and fought William Skull, and you looked horrible. And still, we had your back after that dumbass performance. And then you fought a fighter that you thought you would never fight. But Crawford, like he's out there, I don't get no credit. I don't get no credit. You said that. You shamed his resume, and we right there shamed it with you. And you lose to him. You lose to Terrence Bud Crawford. No pun intended, but I didn't thought he was going to lose to Terrence Bud Crawford. And I said it's better to get the David Benavidez fight. If he could give you all that money, you could convince Turkey Ashe to give you the David Benavidez fight, but you wanted it easy. Canelo Álvarez never wanted it easy before. That's not the Canelo Álvarez that I became a fan. That's not how the Mexican Canelo Álvarez, we don't care if you win or lose. But especially the Mexican fan base, that they are the most loyal fan base in the sport of boxing. They don't care about winning or losing. They care how you win and how you lose. But the way that you was going by things, you don't identify with the people anymore. You was the people's champ. So that boo this past weekend was not about the Mexican fans or betraying you. You betrayed the fans. You betrayed the people. You betrayed your position as the king of boxing. Because you're the one that sets the tone and everybody got to follow suit. Just like when Oscar De La Hoya was the king. And to this day, he got his losses. But there's one thing about Oscar De La Hoya, my brother. Damn, speaking about Oscar De La Hoya. Did you betray Oscar De La Hoya with Golden Boy Promotions? After he locked in one of the most lucrative, not the most lucrative contract in the history of the sport of boxing. Somebody got in your ear and say, you know what? Man, he's going to get all these percentages for 11 fights. You got to get out that contract because you can empower yourself. Before that, didn't you betray the promotional company before Golden Boy Promotions? We enable all of that. We enable all of that and rock with you. We couldn't rock with you anymore. Now, the only people, I'm going to tell you the truth, the only people that's going to, and I'm a fan of Canelo Álvarez, but I'm not a fan of the way that he's moving. If he's going to fight, he's going to fight Billy. Oh, Billy is a good fight. I don't know. Don't come around this channel and tell me that Billy and Canelo Álvarez is a good fight. When the boxing world spend years of a shame campaign that Jamal Charlo is not a good fight. He only won payday. Oh, the Mizandre, the undisputed, is not a good fight. Oh, you only won payday. Oh, David Benavidez he doesn't deserve the fight. He hasn't done nothing. And now you're gonna tell me that Billy deserves this fight, and I'm supposed to be a content creator and be like, oh, but Canelo. No. That boo was justified. That boo was justified. And losing to Terrence Bud Crawford, you killed that momentum. But even David Benavidez is lifting you up by calling your name, because he should be avoiding you at this point after you wet the bed versus Terrence Bud Crawford, a welterweight. That boo was justified. Not because they hating on you. It's because you betrayed the people. Because you do whatever you want to do. You left your crown on the table and you bounce. You was like Simba. He left Pride Rock and let the people, the animals and stuff like that suffer. But we got David Benavidez. David Benavidez is doing what every boxing fans want. David Benavidez is performing like every boxing fans urge their fighter to perform. David Benavidez is the new king, is the new face, and he's doing exactly what we want him to do. In the position that he's at, he could pick easy fights. He's still calling you. He wants Bivol or probably go to the heavyweight division. He has become you, but a better you. Because it's actually more entertaining in the ring. Se puede defender en inglés, en español. And you're mad. You lost to David Benavidez without you physically getting in the ring with him. Because you was trying to protect the BOOS. See, you thought by fighting David Benavidez, you know that you will lose to David Benavidez and David Benavidez will whoop you. And you thought that by David Benavidez beating you, that he will steal the Mexican fan base, that they will adopt a new face, and you don't even want to give it to David Benavidez, but you gave it to David Benavidez. But you did it really in the coward way. You didn't fight him. Who you gonna fight, M. Billy? I mean, where you gonna fight M. Billy? Not in America, not in front of your fan base. So basically, you have abandoned Mexican Independence Day, fighting in front of your people. You have abandoned Cinco de Mayo, gave it up to David Benavidez. You're too scared to fight him. You don't want to give us the fight that we all want to see, so you betrayed the boxing fans. You're Turkey's puppet. I still like Canelo Álvarez. He's one of the greats. I'm not going to take all the good things that he's done in the sport of boxing. But that boo was justified because you betrayed us.